self-regulation. It's creating a sustainable model, and you got to go from the smallest to the largest. So you've got the most vulnerable in our population. You've got yourself, you've got your family, you've got your community, you've got your nation, your world. So self-regulation requires leaders to look at it all.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Let's talk about social responsibility, because companies out there, they think, that because you saving, because you put in the plastic bottle in the right container and the paper in the other container, you're being social responsible. But social responsibility goes beyond that. It comes to give equal opportunity to men, the women. It comes to hire the people because they are the best for the job and the more qualified, regardless if they are Black, Chinese, white, right?
Right.
And so we need a new future. We need a new planet. We need a new type of cultures and company. Because what happened with these companies, that they start all male dominated, or they are the buyers. What happens when this company grows and they have the product out there, but then the consumer the consumer are all mixed race. The consumer are women and men, and then now the consumer are getting very savvy. It's not like before that you put a product there, people buy because you like it. It doesn't work like this anymore. Consumers are getting very savvy, and when they buy your product now, they want to know everything. They want to know what type of culture has the company. They want to know who are the people behind. They want to know how fair this company is with the employees. They want to know if this company have enough women in the direction, the C-level positions, or in the management. Consumers, they're becoming very, very savvy now, because these consumers, especially the young generation, this is the planet that they're gonna live. We are from different generation, at least me, I'm older than you, so I'm for the generation of the waste. From we overproduce and we waste everything.
And I think that, on the benefit of the older,
the pollution, that's my generation.
Yes,
and pollution.
And then you know what? We had more hunger in the developed countries prior to us doing this waste culture. So I did a whole journal on and research project on why we have large farmlands. And it was because the small farmlands, which is what we're going back to, because it's healthier for us, we had people that were going hungry and there wasn't enough food. So we went to this mass production. And I come from a family of manufacturers. My dad was a small manufacturer, steel, made it to a middle manufacturing company. So I know how to bend steel. I know how to paint line. I know how the paint line is heat. The paint is heated for steel. You had to work a press and all of that. And the importance of that. We don't want to say we can all be service. We still have to produce, but you're right. The waste has to be counted. And think of the money you're saving for your company. If nothing else, if you can't think of social responsibility for yourself, think about the bottom line dollar. When you come up with programs that has less steel waste, less oil waste, less fumes, less whatever it may be, you're saving yourself money. And it doesn't matter whether it could be a lawsuit later because people can't breathe around your plant, or if you've been
100%.
It's all of it. So that's part of that self-regulation. It's creating a sustainable model. And you got to go from the smallest to the largest. So you've got the most vulnerable in our population. You've got yourself. You've got your family. You've got your community. You've got your, your nation, your world. So self-regulation requires leaders to look at it all. If you don't, what are you going to do? You're not only going to deplete resources, are you managing your emotions enough that you're managing your resources? How many decisions are bad decisions because you didn't regulate your own emotions? You didn't listen to somebody. You didn't find out what your team was telling you. You didn't check the work. Sometimes your staff can be wrong. Just because give you facts and numbers, are you checking them? Or are you, okay, great, let's do it his way or her way, whichever way, or I like them, so let's do it that way. Don't do it that way. Regulate those emotions, regulate those decisions, and make sure you have self-regulation. That's on anything. We can all be glutton on everything. The waste organization, we can buy 10 boxes of Twinkies, 12 Oreos, Reese's peanut butter cups, and throw them all in our kitchen and be able to eat them. But guess what? By the end of the day, you're going to have diabetes or be in a coma. So you have to, that self-regulation is applied to everything. That's one of the reasons why the UN Global Compact Committee was created, which is to create sustainable models for businesses, not only to thrive, but also make sure that they're creating a better future. And I love those young whippersnappers, as we would have called them in our day and age, because guess what? They get it. We may not like the attitude of the work that they come in with at first, but once you understand that they understand that there's more to life than just working, they get there's more dimensions in the world than just work and and home. In one of my next books that's coming out, it's a journey to life balance. I talk about the 13 dimensions that we have. Wow, we have to consider our spirituality, and I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about the connection, our integrity, our home, our finances, which is very important because guess what? Girls still like diamonds. That has not gone out the door. We can buy them ourselves now.
100%, yeah, exactly. You can produce your own economy and buy yourself. So Rhonda, tell us about your books.
Sure. So I have kind of a different model. So I start out with a fiction model, a fiction book first. And so this is called Crossroads. It's based out of Indianapolis. It's about a finance executive that gets called to jury duty, and she's a workaholic and tries to get out of it, but can't. It's kind of like a Grisham or a Agatha Christie kind of feel, but it's endorsed by Meryl Hemingway, the Academy Award-winning actress and granddaughter of Ernest Hemingway, the famous author. And what I did in this book is I wanted to gather people's motivations and their thoughts through entertainment, but it's really talking about life balance. Are we balanced? Are things happening in our lives because we're not balancing our lives? And then what's coming out around Christmas time is, and this is the cover, is a journey to life balance. It's a workbook approach. And basically what it does is it takes the characters in Crossroads and says, okay, they're all out of balance, and makes them a case study and works you through your issues as an individual. What are you doing right and what are you doing wrong? When we set goals, many a times what we do is we set them on finance, career, and maybe relationships, but we don't do the 13 dimensions. And so I set a practice, and I've done it for years with myself, where I try to take a break, and then I do my own workbook, and I say, okay, what am I doing now? Am I satisfied? Am I getting a real, momentum and inspiration in my life? And as I go through it, I find out I'm completely out of balance and not doing anything that I said that I'd like to do in my life. And then I get myself realigned to my own vision and mission, because that was like one of the 5 steps, if you remember. Are you aligned? Well, that means you have to be aligned with yourself too. Are you practicing what you really believe in? You can't have any happiness if you're not, so that one will be out about Christmas. And then after that, there'll be a book that the working title is called Chosen, and it works on just what
Wow, you
talking.
Have one book and the other one, Rhoda.
It's another fiction, and this one's about a young woman who takes one of the characters in Crossroads and pulls them all out and lets you see her life. And in that one, it talks about how, as a society, we teach ourselves to be victims. You ever heard of the thought you have a victim mentality?
Yeah.
Well, what happens to these people? So you get to follow her through her life and find out what happens to her. And then there'll be a self-help book on how to prevent it and for yourself. My goal for everybody, any of my clients, for you, and thank you for having me, everybody out there. This is a great podcast. Make sure you like, share, and follow, because anytime you can get tips on how to make yourself better, greater, more money, make your first million.
Mm-hmm.
Through the 5 steps that I've given you, that get you started. The 5 steps that the next person gives you will get you going, and then you can build and build. And guess what? In the end, not only do you have an emotional intelligence model that you can practice, but you have a resource that when you get stuck in a rut, you can come out of that rut and be shiny as the next, bowl of cherries, because we want that for you. And knowing that we all get to that place sometimes that we have to we're trying to achieve our own personal goals and aspirations, and we think, oh my goodness, I'm tired. Mm-hmm. What do I do next? Feeling fulfilled requires you to be aligned with resources that can fill you back up.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.